Mystic Mysteries podcast presents Paranormal Presidents.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to explore the more unusual corners of history.
Today, we're going deep into a world where American history meets the unexplained, the world of U.S. presidents and the supernatural.
A fascinating intersection for sure.
Our source for this deep dive is an article from, you guessed it, Ask Mystic Investigations, titled, "What Role Have U.S. Presidents Played in the Supernatural World?"
Sounds intriguing already.
Right. So we're going to try to uncover sounds crazy, right? But this article claims he faced all sorts of supernatural threats while, building a nation and all that.
Wow. Imagine Washington leading armies by day, battling ghouls by night.
Definitely adds a new dimension to the whole founding father thing, right? And it gets even wilder, believe it or not. The article mentions a witch who tried to marry Washington, to try and sabotage the U.S. from within.
A witch, like with a pointy hat and everything.
Apparently. And get this, she was a time traveler, too.
Hold on. A time-traveling witch trying to marry George Washington. What was her end game?
Well, the article doesn't go into specifics, but it really makes you wonder, right? Like, what were the stakes in this supernatural power play?
Definitely raises more questions than answers.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did she succeed?
Nope. Not according to this article. Washington saw through her disguise, and it says he formed a secret organization called the Witch Defense League to combat these kinds of threats.
The Witch Defense League. Never heard of that.
Me neither. It was apparently a precursor to the modern U.S. Paranormal Defense Agency, or USPDA, that we know today.
Ah, the USPDA. So the government has been aware of and dealing with paranormal threats for centuries.
Seems that way. Now, let's move on to another early president, James Polk. He's a fascinating case because the article says he had a personal experience with the supernatural that really shaped his views.
Really? What happened?
Well, as a child, he was allegedly the victim of a voodoo curse.
A voodoo curse? Where did that come from?
It was connected to his family's history with slavery, according to the article.
Wow. So even back then, the supernatural was intertwined with some of the darkest chapters of American history.
Absolutely. And this curse, it says, had a huge impact on Polk later on. It led him to actually deny the existence of the supernatural, even though he experienced it firsthand.
That's understandable, I guess. Maybe he was trying to suppress something traumatic.
Maybe. But he also issued an Executive Order 66, to essentially ignore any paranormal threats.
Executive Order 66. That's interesting. So there was a deliberate effort to downplay the supernatural, even at the highest levels of government.
Yeah, that seems to be the implication. So we've got a founding father fighting monsters, a time-traveling witch trying to alter history, a secret paranormal defense agency, and a president ignoring supernatural threats despite his own experiences.
It's like a whole other side of history unfolding in the shadows. Makes you wonder what else might be hidden beneath the surface, right?
Exactly. And when it comes to hidden stories, Abraham Lincoln is a really interesting figure. Remember that movie Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter?
Yeah, pretty entertaining, actually.
Well, the article dives into the supposed truth behind it. Apparently, Lincoln was the most prolific supernatural slayer of all U.S. presidents.
Wow, so Honest Abe was more than just honest. He was a bona fide monster hunter.
It seems that way. We're talking werewolves, wendigos, zombies, you name it.
So not just political battles during his presidency, but paranormal ones, too.
Right. And even in death, Lincoln couldn't escape the supernatural. His ghost is said to haunt the White House,
Really? That's a classic ghost story. Why do you think he's still hanging around?
The article suggests it could be a Confederate curse or even his own guilt over the Civil War.
A president haunted by the weight of his decisions, even in the afterlife. That's a powerful image.
It is. And while we're on the topic of presidential ghost stories, the article briefly mentions another president with a supernatural encounter, Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson,
Yeah.
the one who took over after Lincoln.
That's him. Apparently, he had a run-in with a werewolf. And get this, he made the pelt into a jacket.
A werewolf jacket. Sounds like something straight out of a monster movie.
Right. The article says it was supposed to offer protection from supernatural dangers.
I wonder where that jacket ended up. Maybe tucked away in some secret government vault somewhere.
Maybe. Okay, so from legendary jackets to presidential scandals, the article then shifts gears to Chester A. Arthur.
Chester A. Arthur. Now, he's not exactly a household name.
True. But he might have had a shady connection to the assassination of President James Garfield.
Wait, are we talking conspiracy theories now?
Well, the article suggests that Arthur might have called in a favor from a member of the Oneida community.
The Oneida community, that utopian group.
That's the one. They had some, let's say, unique beliefs and practices.
Right, I remember reading about them. So what kind of favor are we talking about here?
It's not entirely clear, but the article implies it involved some sort of hypnotic ability that helped Arthur get back in Garfield's good graces.
Hypnosis. That's a pretty out there claim. So are we saying that a shadowy group with mind control powers might have influenced a presidential assassination?
That's what the article is implying. It definitely makes you wonder about the unseen forces at play in even the most significant historical events.
Absolutely. Power dynamics can be shaped by all sorts of unexpected factors, both seen and unseen.
Speaking of unexpected, let's talk about Teddy Roosevelt. He wasn't just a Rough Rider, you know. The article paints him as a big game cryptid hunter.
Big game cryptid hunter. Now that's a title I haven't heard before. What kind of cryptids are we talking about?
Oh, just your average Sasquatch, werewolves, even a Yeti.
Wait, Teddy Roosevelt battling a Yeti. This is getting better and better. Where did he find all these creatures?
Well, it supposedly started when he was a cowboy in the Dakota Territory. He had a run-in with a Sasquatch, and that sparked a lifelong fascination, according to the article.
So he went from busting trusts to busting Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
What else did he find on his hunts?
Well, on an African safari, he apparently captured something the article calls a reverse vampire lion.
A reverse vampire lion? What in the world is that?
It's described as an herbivore lion with supernatural abilities.
Okay, now that's just bizarre. Herbivore lion. Sounds like a myth.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's what the article claims.
Yeah.
So we've gone from monster-slaying presidents to cryptid-hunting presidents. And now, hold on to your hats, because we're diving into the world of secret societies with Woodrow Wilson.
Secret societies? Like the Freemasons or something?
Yeah. Even bigger. We're talking the Illuminati, the New World Order.
Whoa. Now we're getting into some serious conspiracy theory territory.
Yeah, we are. The article claims Wilson was the first U.S. president completely controlled by the Illuminati.
Controlled how?
Through a network of, secret societies and shadowy rituals.
So they orchestrated his rise to power.
That's what the article suggests.
So from monster slaying to political conspiracies and secret societies pulling the strings, who knows what we'll uncover next.
Right. This deep dive has taken us down some pretty strange and unexpected paths already.
And we're just getting started.
So, from monster slaying to political conspiracies and secret societies, makes you wonder what the 21st century holds.
Well, the article actually claims President Obama had a childhood encounter that might have influenced his journey to the White House.
Seriously, tell me more. What happened?
It all supposedly went down in Hawaii, where a young Obama saved Menehune.
A Menehune, what's that?
It's a type of Hawaiian elf, or like a nature spirit.
Interesting. And what does this Menehune have to do with Obama?
Well, it was being attacked by, get this, a vampire.
Hold on, a vampire in Hawaii? Now that's a twist I wasn't expecting.
Right. Pretty wild. So Obama saved this Menehune, and these creatures, they're known for their magical abilities. So the grateful Menehune, it couldn't fully repay Obama for saving its life, right? So it called in a favor from a leprechaun.
Wait, a leprechaun?
Yeah, apparently they're pretty tight with Menehune.
So a leprechaun and a Menehune teamed up to help Obama become president.
That's what the article claims. The leprechaun granted Obama, exceptional good luck.
Well, that's one way to win an election, I guess. But hold on, the article also mentions Obama establishing a vampire task force. Like a real government task force.
Yeah, apparently. The article suggests that, Obama recognized that vampires were a real threat, so he created this task force to monitor and manage their activity in the U.S.
Wow, a secret vampire hunting squad in the government. Who knew? Okay, so we've got Hawaiian elves, leprechauns, vampire task forces. What about President Trump? Where does he fit into all this?
Well, according to the article, Trump was actually already aware of the supernatural world before he became president.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. Apparently, he'd hired witches to protect his properties from vampires.
Witches protecting Trump Towers from vampires. That's a headline I'd like to see.
Right, and it gets even wilder. He even claims he was approached by the devil.
The devil? Seriously?
That's what the article says. The devil offered him the presidency in exchange for some, unspecified favors.
Wow. A deal with the devil for the presidency. Talk about high stakes. Did he take the deal?
Nope, the article says he declined. But what really shocked Trump, even though he already knew about the supernatural world, was just how vast and complex it actually was. Like, he was particularly worried about malevolent extraterrestrials.
Alien invaders. Is this where Space Force comes in?
You got it. According to the article, Trump created Space Force not just as another branch of the military, but because he believed there was an actual intergalactic war brewing and Earth needed protecting.
Hold on. An intergalactic war?
Yeah, the article describes this galactic federation that protects Earth, and they're apparently locked in a war with invaders from another galaxy.
So Space Force is like Earth's first line of defense against alien invaders? That's a lot to take in. What about President Biden? Where does he fit into all of this?
The article says that Biden was kind of gradually introduced to the supernatural world while he was vice president, so he was, relatively prepared when he took office.
So no surprise alien encounters for Biden.
Not according to this source, no. But it does say that he put Kamala Harris in charge of dealing with the Galactic Federation and Space Force.
Wait, so the vice president is leading the charge in this intergalactic war?
But the article goes even further. It claims that Harris has been on, off-world missions to negotiate peace with these alien races. And, get this, she's supposedly doing it with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, the actor.
The one and only. Apparently, he's a big fan favorite among these aliens, so they recruited him to help smooth things over.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone from presidents battling mythical creatures to secret societies, time travel, intergalactic wars, and now Tom Cruise is a space diplomat. This is one wild deep dive.
It really makes you wonder, what other secrets are hidden just beneath the surface of everything we think we know.
I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing, right? Like, behind all the history we learn in school, there could be this whole other layer of paranormal stuff going on, shaping things in ways we never realized.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about how much we don't know and how many different perspectives there are to every story.
Right. From Washington fighting monsters to Trump, allegedly meeting the devil, and then Kamala Harris out there doing intergalactic diplomacy. It's like every president has their own weird, unexplained story. What stands out to you as the biggest takeaway from all this?
I think what really struck me is how the article ties the paranormal to some really important moments in U.S. history. It's suggesting that these encounters, whether they actually happened or not, might have actually shaped presidential decisions and actions in ways we never considered.
It's not just ghost stories, right? We're talking about potential influences on wars, assassinations, even the creation of Space Force.
Exactly. It really makes you think about how much of what we know about history might be influenced by stuff we can't fully explain. And it raises questions about, power, secrecy, and how information gets controlled.
It also makes you think about, the motivations behind these supposed paranormal encounters. Are these forces trying to help us or maybe manipulate us? Are they protecting us or are they a threat?
Good questions. That's something each listener will have to decide for themselves, I think. But the article definitely wants us to, question the stories we're told and be open to the idea that there might be more to reality than we see.
This whole deep dive has given me a whole new way to look at American history and the people who shaped it. It's like getting a peek behind the curtain and seeing this whole hidden world where it's hard to tell what's real and what's not.
And that's maybe the most exciting part of it all, right?
Yeah.
It pushes us to think outside the box, to embrace the mystery, and to never stop questioning, the stories that shape our world.
So to all you listeners out there, keep an open mind. There's a whole universe of stories out there, and who knows what other amazing discoveries are waiting for us. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everybody.
This has been a Mystic Investigations production in association with the secret world of the supernatural.